This is going to be so easy.
Okay.
I promise you.
Okay.
It's not formal, so we're just going to keep talking like we talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. But I told you what the premise is, right?
No.
So the premise of the conversation is, what is your identity and origin story to yourself? Like when you think about who you are and who you've been over your lifetime, what identity has that person, like what is the identity that you've adopted in life, and how has it evolved over time? How do you live that out? The choices that you make.
Wow, you're going to make me cry then, right?
Well, I might cry with you. It's all right.
That's a deep.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful premise of the day. I love that.
It's the only conversation I want to have now.
Okay.
Like as far as the podcast, like before, when I first started this, I started it in the COVID pandemic, and it was open. You talk about whatever.
Right.
If people want to talk about their work or they want to talk about whatever, love life or whatever, sports. But I had a conversation once with somebody here, and this became the subject of that conversation, and then every episode since.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
Because I believe that we're all having these silent conversations with ourselves about who we are, and that's what determines like where we choose to live,
right?
Who we choose to be in a relationship with, what work we choose to do, how do we deal with, different relationships, family relationships, work relationships, romantic relationships. Like all of this is based on who we believe we are or are supposed to be.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I do. And I got to tell you, I will probably tell you things that I probably never told anyone.
Okay. Well, it's not live. So like,
I'm just saying.
I got you covered.
With that premise.
Yeah. Cause like, we don't get to have the conversation.
And it's very cathartic.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Saying something like that and a topic like that, maybe is therapy, being able to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. I'm sure that's why I enjoy it so much.
I love that.
Like it's not just enjoyable and entertaining, it's therapeutic.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and everybody has fantastic stories. Like everybody has a much richer story than we typically get out of them because we don't go there.
No one asks those questions. You understand?
Yeah.
Like I know, like when I see it, I'm like, I want to be on the couch, but like I never realized that the backstory of that is that.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay.
So like when I was a little kid, I was cute. Right?
You're
when
so
I was
cute.
Like, I mean, thank you. But like when I was, 5, toddler up to like adolescent, like I was cute. And through like what's the word for like when you become a teenager and all that? Whatever. Puberty.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Then, face changes and I was short for a long time. And so like I didn't grow from cute to handsome. I went from cute to not ugly. Sometimes awkward.
Okay.
Right.
You owe me a soda.
Right. And then like it's not even like I think I'm very handsome right now.
You are.
Right. I didn't think I was very handsome 3 years ago.
Really?
No.
I would never think that.
I think I could look very well. I could dress well and have a nice clean haircut and
but you didn't
look
feel
good.
that.
I didn't think that was like I'm just a handsome person.
That's very surprising to hear.
Yeah, I was like,
I would never have thought that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Because of your confidence.
Okay.
Never would have thought that.
But my confidence was never from what I look like. My confidence was always from like what I can do, how intelligent I am, how creative I am, like all of those things.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I remember feeling as a younger person, there's the pretty girls and there's the handsome boys or the tall, strong boys or whatever. All that stuff gives you a certain currency going through life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you ever heard like the pretty, what's it called? The pretty girl tax or the pretty person tax or pretty privilege. You ever heard of pretty
No.
privilege?
No.
Of course you didn't, because you're pretty. But like, we all are nicer to people we see as good looking.
Do you think so?
It's a psychological.
Really?
Like, it's like you're nicer, you're pleasant around what you see as pleasant. Mm-hmm. It affects your demeanor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's why you're in a better mood in a garden than you are in a desert.
True.
Right? Because you're surrounded by beauty.
Right.
But like, people are the same way. It's like,
wow.
You look at somebody and you get a nicer interaction from people if they think you're good looking. You know what I mean? People are more considerate. People are more forgiving.
Right.
And I didn't have that.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't have that experience.
That's so surprising.
Yeah, no, I don't have that experience.
Wow.
Right? Or at least not to an extreme.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's taught me a lot of like, there's also value in not having that, because I get more honesty out of people in terms of how they deal with me.
How they,
I
interact.
can track what it is that they value, because it's not just the facade, the look of me. You know what I mean? They might value my creativity or my power or my intellect or whatever other things.
Right.
But it ain't that.
Wow.
You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's taught me a lot in terms of like how to move through the world also. Mm-hmm. You know, like how to pay attention to myself and to people around me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when did you discover that you were good looking?
I don't know about good looking, I have to tell you.
Really?
Because I was a massive tomboy growing up.
Okay.
Massive.
Yeah.
So I used to play with all the boys on the block. Mm-hmm. And when I was younger, I used to be called Kevin.
Really?
Because I was such a tomboy with my dirt bike, with my long blonde hair and buck teeth. Okay?
Yeah.
Not really the best looking.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And then I'd say around 12, 13, I remember I didn't really want to be that person no more.
Yeah.
I want to be a girl.
Yeah.
No more Kevin.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Even like my family say, hey, where's Kegs? Kegs. It used to be. Where's Kegs?
Yeah.
And I was like, so then I would start to do my hair. Mm-hmm. And back in the 80s, you used to, the higher the better. So Karyn had that big hair, with the lip liner. And I have big lips to begin with. The lip liner would be, my lips came in the room before Karyn did. So, and then, I put makeup on. And then people started noticing once I started putting makeup on.
Yeah.
And I was always thin, and I was always athletic.
Yeah. Wow.
But I was not pretty.
Got you.
When I was younger.
Got you. Yeah.
Definitely. If I show you some pictures, very awkward. I had long, thin legs.
Got you.
Twig.
Yeah.
Always like I was like a surfboard.
Got you.
Still like that. The 8 inches from the back is in my mind. Remember? My butt comes out 8 inches from the back. It's in my mind. That's how I see myself in the mirror. But it's not like that.
Got you.
But it was just very awkward.
Yeah.
Growing into yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I had 2 older sisters that were 5 and 10 years older than me. And I saw my sisters and I saw people on the block. But then, you start having friends. I remember going over to my girlfriend's house and she's like, why don't you put on some mascara and some eyeliner and, eyeliner. What is it called? Mascara. I mean, what is, but I can't think of the word right now. Eyeshadow. And I'm like, well, where do you put it? She's like, are you serious? I've never put makeup on before.
Yeah. Right.
So she's all done up.
Yeah.
And so it was like almost like a tutorial at 12. You know what I mean? But all the other girls are all into makeup.
Already,
I'm just learning.
Gotcha.
So I was a late bloomer. And so definitely was awkward.
Yeah. So what did you remember about yourself as a child in terms of like, what were the things that you remember early that you were either good at or that you were proud of about yourself?
That I was proud. I was always happy. I was always happy.
Yeah.
A lot of adversity growing up, but I was always happy.
Yeah.
That was almost, I guess, like my defense mechanism. And because if you're not happy,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else goes with it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even
yeah.
though there was chaos
Right.
going on, I was always bubbly.
Right, right.
So that might be my best,
That's dope.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
happiness. Like when in grammar school, I was nominated most cheerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if anyone knew what was going on in my life,
right.
you would have no idea.
Yeah,
But I would always go to school very happy, cheerful, bubbly.
yeah.
It was like a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
But then like you bring the bubbly in it, like
Right, right.
you incorporate it into your personality.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then you become happy.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you have to find your own happiness.
Yeah.
Because in adversity, you could
Yeah.
either go that way
Right.
or you could want to go this way
Right.
and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, like, there's so much power in deciding for yourself a positive identity,
Correct.
right? Because to your point, the circumstances in the environment are going to be whatever they're going to be,
100%.
and sometimes, a lot of times, it's not going to be pretty. It's
No.
not going to be pleasant.
You have to listen to this person
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah. Yep.
This one down here
Yep.
is so much smarter
Yeah.
than this one up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
Because your inside
Mhm.
voice
Mhm.
is so much stronger than this.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact every single person in this world has
Mhm.
said, you know what, I want to kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has said that. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Who goes through with it?
Right.
It's that person that goes through with it.
Yeah.
But when you have those feelings, you have to be able to fight them
Mm-hmm.
to get off that feeling
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
be able to function.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because everyone has those feelings. And if
Yeah.
you'd be lying to me,
Mhm.
everyone would be lying if they didn't say at one point of their life that they felt that way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like this person. It's funny. I'm reading this book right now, and it talks about like the solar plexus, which is like the brain of your subconscious,
Right.
right? And this person only listens to what I say about me.
Mm-hmm.
So like other people can say something about me, and I can choose to accept it or reject it.
Right.
Right? If somebody says something positive about me and I choose to accept it and I repeat it,
Mm-hmm.
then my subconscious will adopt that. And if it's negative, if I repeat it to myself, if I adopt it and I own it, then
The aura
it's the
will
same
hear
way.
it. 100%.
Yeah. But if I
100%.
reject the negative and I just say to myself, well, no matter what's going on, I'm a happy person.
100%.
Then that's how I will go through life.
100%. And the world hears that.
Yeah.
It's like you put it out there.
Mhm.
If you put positivity out there,
Mhm.
positivity will come.
Yeah.
If you put negativity out there,
Yeah.
negativity is going to come right
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's all what you put out
Yeah.
that'll come back.
Yeah.
You know?
And you'll see the positivity more if you accept this idea and this identity that I'm a positive, happy person.
Correct.
Like some people just can't see the positive things.
Right.
And you'll be in the same room with them looking at the same thing.
Right.
And they won't see the positivity.
True.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it gives you positive eyes. It gives you positive ears. Like it gives you positive sensors, so to speak, so
Right.
that you can identify the good in life.
Correct.
You know, it's like, I thought about it, like it's really cold right now, right? Like it's 20s, 30s, right? And it's common, like, you talk to somebody, how you doing? Oh, it's so cold. And I thought about it like, across the spring, summer, fall, there are a lot of gorgeous days that don't get noted by the
True.
same folks that will tell you that it's cold when it's cold.
Right.
They won't say it's gorgeous when it's gorgeous.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Just
like,
looking for something.
yeah.
Right.
And then I thought about, it would be much better for me to be someone who loves all of the seasons just for different reasons.
Correct.
Like I don't gotta love them for this. It's not just about the temperature. You know what I mean? There's a
Correct.
reason to love the winter that the summer doesn't give me.
Right.
And so like lock in on those things about the winter. So that I'm not just thinking about the discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get to dress in the winter in a way that I can't dress
Do
in
in
the
the
summer.
summer. Correct.
And I look great in my pea coat and my
Right.
scarf and my
Yes,
hat.
you
and,
do.
you know
The
what I
red
mean?
hat with the scarf. Tied perfectly,
Right?
might add.
Right? It's a big deal to me, right? But like,
Exactly.
that's not something that the summer affords me
Right.
at all.
Right.
So like, I should enjoy the winter for those things, whatever
Right.
those things are.
Correct.
And not just be sad that it's so cold.
Right.
You know, and then the same thing in the summer. Like when it's really hot, it's not comfortable when it's really hot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not somebody who enjoys the
heat.
the
Right.
crazy heat,
Yeah,
and I
me
don't
either.
enjoy the crazy cold.
Right.
But when it's gorgeous or when it is hot, I don't feel the discomforts of like feeling it in my bones, like
Right.
the way the cold does.
Right.
And not being like able to move and then my feet freezing when I'm walking down the street. Like,
Fingers.
all of that stuff is
Right.
like, in the hottest of days, I'm not suffering those things.
No.
So I can be thankful for every season.
Every single thing.
Just for different reasons.
100%.
You know?
You know, you should wake up in the morning and feel grateful from the minute you wake up.
Period.
From the minute you wake up.
Yes.
Everything that happens to you in your life is a perspective
Yes.
that you should bring into yourself.
Yeah.
Things that happen, you should say, you know what? At least I'm here. I wake up in the morning and I have another chance to make today better than it was yesterday. And you know what? You're only competing with yourself
Yeah.
as compared to yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, they're doing their own thing. And you know what?
Yeah.
Better luck to them.
Right.
But you know what? I can't
Yeah.
be that
I'm not
person.
them. Yeah.
I can only try to be the best me that I could be.
Yep.
And listen, on 6 of those days, I might be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But one day, you know what?
Yeah.
I did a good job today. And let's try to, you know, keep the momentum going from this and try to, you know what? I liked how I did this. Let me keep going with that.
Yeah.
You know?
My boy Bais told me about this book he read. I think it's called The Gap and the Gain. Right?
The Gap and the Gain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's essentially about how, like, out of those 7 days, you know, if you decide to go to the gym, right? You make this new decision, I'm going to start going to the gym. And first 4 days you go, and then day 5 you don't go, day 6 you don't go, day 7 you don't go. You can be upset about the gap of those 3 days that you didn't go, or you can say, I went 4 days more than I did the week before.
True.
I could be concerned with the gain, because the gains are real. You did that thing.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's
You
a good
went
way
to
to
the
think
gym,
about it.
right? And like, it's not a measure against perfection. It's just a measure of, are there gains
That's very
to be counted, and then count them and use them as fuel
I
for
love
next
that.
week or whatever. But like, focus on the gains
Correct.
and not the gap.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
You know, that's the wonderful thing about speaking to you. You hear so much different perspective.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Like, I love that perspective of, you know what? Yes, I did 4 days, but I didn't do 3 days.
Right.
And everyone is going
Right.
to harp on those 3 days.
Yeah.
And then you start eating bad and the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the perspective of, you know what? I did those 4 days. I went to the gym as I went to work, and you know what? And I did it.
Yeah.
So to being able to see that and have that perspective is 3/4 of the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
battle.
Because it's all in here.
Right.
Like, all of it is in, what story am I telling myself
Correct.
as reality?
100%.
I tell myself a story. Like you said, it's all perspective.
Right.
I don't actually have a grasp on reality. I have a grasp on the story that I'm choosing based on the things that I'm
100%.
seeing and prioritizing.
Right.
You know, and I can choose. I have the power of choice.
Right.
I get to choose what I look at. I get to choose what I listen to. I get to choose what I repeat.
Right.
You know, and so many other choices I have. So even if it's not 4 days, even if it's 2 days, even if it's 1 day, even if it's, I put my sneakers on and then took a nap and never went to the gym.
Right.
If last week I
You didn't
never
even
put
put the
sneakers
sneakers
on,
on.
then I got gains
You're ahead
to
of the
count.
game. 100%. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's another thing for me, in like right now, being single, that has been really, really helpful, because there is no one else to lean on. There's also no one else that gets the credit for every good thing I did. Like, I get to own everything,
I love
because
that.
I'm not doing it because I don't want to have a fight with so-and-so,
Right.
or I don't want to, you know what I mean, have any
Right.
friction or whatever, or It's not an act of service outside myself.
Mm-hmm.
I serve myself so well that I have to serve the rest of the world in some capacity.
Right.
Because that's the whole cup spilleth over thing.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
like I'm really, really fortunate and grateful for the morning that I gave myself and the good meal that I choose to eat,
Right.
or the good time I chose to spend with Karyn instead of just doom scrolling and watching Netflix and whatever. Like I chose to do really good things that poured into me.
I love that.
So I get to pour from the overflow.
Right.
You know
I
what
love that.
That's how I get to see it.
I was so excited to come here. You know, like I see the other people on the couches, and you know, just I love this being able to talk free.
Yeah.
Who is able to talk like when you're in
a
crowd?
Right.
Who actually listens?
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah. It's rare.
You're listening. You always listen. You know, because you could talk, but how many people listen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's what I love about that. You could talk, you could, you know, share your feelings because you're listening. And that's what I love so much about this and seeing the people that you bring on.
Right.
You know, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because people want to talk about what they're feeling.
Right.
And you're giving them that stage to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Because not many people do, unless you're with, you know, someone that you really feel comfortable to, that you could talk. But how many people have that? Right. That you're able to really feel deep. Yeah. To let people know how you feel.
Yeah, it's been therapeutic for me.
Right.
It's poured into me to listen to people and to think of things that I wasn't consciously thinking of before about myself. So like I get to enjoy and be edified by all of this perspective and these stories. And everybody has such rich stories. Everybody has a one-of-one story. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be the loudest story. It's still a one-of-one story.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the most dramatic story, the most epic story. There is no other Karyn story.
Correct.
This is the only one.
Right.
And that alone makes it special.
Correct.
Like that is the definition of
And
special.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So I get to be in receipt of those special perspectives and stories.
Correct.
And you know, and they get to inform me, or I get to measure my own perspective against another.
Right.
And do I find out that there is a broadening of my perspective that I can benefit from, or there's a doubling down on like, nope, this works for me.
Right.
I'm glad to know that exists in the world too, but I know that the thing for me works for me because I did measure it against other
100%.
perspectives and whatnot.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
love that.
Yeah.
You know, when we started talking, you said, ask, you know, you're going to tell me about how you feel about the perspective and how, when I was younger, what made me me.
Yeah.
And then when you asked me, were you always pretty? No.
Right.
Again, when I was telling you, like around 11, 12, I changed from that tomboy to a girl. At 11, my sister had a baby.
Okay.
I was 11. My sister was 16.
Yeah.
She hid the baby for 6 months. So back in the day, in 1980,
you're
not able to have an abortion.
Right.
You know, and she wanted to have it.
Yep.
So my father was a cop. We were this idyllic family, supposedly.
Yep.
And everything imploded.
Right.
So we have this little baby. I was a niece at 11.
Aunt.
An aunt. I was an aunt. I had a niece at 11.
Yeah.
And it completely changed all the dynamics of the family.
Yep.
Completely changed everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you had to grow up quick.
Yeah. Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
You had to grow up quick. My sister was 16.
Yeah.
My mother became a mother. Again.
Yeah.
I became a mother at 11.
Right.
My sister was doing her thing.
Right.
Traveling. Leaving the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that completely changed our lives.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody in the family now has more responsibility.
Crazy.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And she wound up being a wonderful addition to the family.
For sure.
Fabulous. You know, we loved my niece.
Yeah.
Love. You know, she's in the Army.
Okay.
But to have that turmoil come into your life that we didn't know that happened. was crazy.
Yeah.
And it really does define who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
And with that, also changed how my father viewed me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was right after her.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, after that,
Mm-hmm.
so strict.
Okay.
So strict.
Right. Right.
Because you don't want no baby coming again.
Yeah.
With Karyn.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And my sister was 5 years older. She was more mature.
Yeah.
She was 21.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was crazy how the dynamics
right.
and birth order
Mm-hmm.
in a family change everything.
Yep. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot about how I call it, I'm fortunate to be the youngest among my siblings. Because I got to watch all of them be smarter than me, more experienced than me, and all these things, and still fuck up.
Right.
In their own individual ways.
Right. And you learn.
When I fucked up, it was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. The fucking up isn't special.
Right.
That doesn't
Everyone does
that.
that.
We're all doing it, right?
Right.
And then the older you get, you realize, oh, your parents are fucking up too. It's not just the siblings.
Right, exactly.
You know
We
what I mean?
all did.
We're all doing it.
Inclusively.
Yeah.
Not exclusively.
Right. But then it also shows me like, it's not for me to pay for anybody else's fuck up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also, what I might have been told or taught or seen as somebody's fuck up might not have been a fuck up. It might have just been a diverging from the story that was already expected to play out.
Correct.
You know, it's like, it's not exactly a fuck up actually, just because it doesn't live up to this story, this fictional story.
Correct.
You know, like
this is the way God wanted it.
This is the reality over here.
100%.
You know, this is actual life. This story in people's heads, that's nothing.
Nothing.
And it doesn't exist anywhere. Except people's heads.
Right. 100%.
But like this thing is actual life. I remember I was in high school once, and I went to like all of my siblings, like 5 out of the 7 siblings went to this one high school. And I remember my brother dropped out of high school when he was a freshman. Like he went to high school for a year, and then he was like, fuck this.
Wow.
Right. And my freshman year of high school, I cut class half a day, every day, the whole year.
Wow.
Right. And it wasn't because I was just set on being a delinquent. I was incredibly unimpressed by school. I was unimpressed by these mediocre teachers reading out of the textbook and calling it teaching.
Right.
I was unimpressed by what we would call now like this lack of emotional intelligence, and you know, administration and faculty and teachers just wanting you to be obedient.
Right.
Like obedience is equated to good in such a ridiculous, arbitrary way.
Right.
And it's like, I remember at that time, like, I was just so unimpressed by all of this. I would cut school every day at lunch. I would go to lunch, and then me and a group of my friends would go to a college campus, and we hang out at the library at the college just to hang out.
Really?
Every
day.
Hang
out in college
as a freshman in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right?
That's
so it was
crazy.
like, it was evident to me, like, I'm not anti-education.
Right.
I'm not
Obviously,
anti-school.
You're very articulate.
Anti-mediocre. And there was a lot of fucking mediocrity going on that still had authority.
Is unacceptable.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one day I was in the vice principal's office for like, I don't know, I had probably gotten like suspended or something. Cause like they, you know, you get suspended for being absent.
You get suspended for being absent?
Like if you're
too many
absent 3
absences?
times, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you know, homeroom is where they do the attendance thing. So it's like if you miss homeroom, it doesn't matter that you were in school for the rest of the day or not.
Right.
You were absent that day.
Right.
So I remember the vice principal was, I don't know if she was the vice principal for all of my siblings or if she was just an administrator in the school.
Right.
But I remember she asked me, there was like one of my older sisters did really well in the school as far as they were concerned. And then there was my brother who dropped out after freshman year.
Right.
And I remember her asking me, like, are you going to be like your sister or are you going to be like your brother? And at the time I was like, I want to be like my sister because I'm sitting in this fucking vice principal's office next to my mom
Right.
having this conference.
Right. I'm
not
going to tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm going to tell you what you want to hear
Right?
next to mom.
Right.
Exactly.
But like,
Right.
when I think back to that, I was like, man, the right answer would have been, I'm going to be me. And you never seen me before.
Correct.
So don't judge me on either one of them.
100%. Because I'm not them.
And don't judge them either.
Correct.
Because like your measure of good doesn't mean that this one is going to do better in life than that one.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Just because he chose that doesn't mean he's doing great
Right,
now.
Right. So now I think about how going through those experiences, like, oh, maybe what I thought was a fuck up wasn't a fuck up. And so when something that I experience or something that I do diverts from the story in my head, I have more aptitude to try to look at it with new eyes. It's like, this is just a pivot. It's not a fuck up.
A pivot.
It's just
I love that.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Pivot.
And it's a pivot from a story that doesn't exist in real life. It's a pivot from a projection. You know what I mean? So, all right, well, this is real life now.
Right.
How can this be fruitful? How can this be therapeutic? How can this be beneficial?
Right.
Because it all can be. Until I'm dead, I can make good out of anything.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And life is going to give me more pivots.
Of course. I love that. Pivots. I love that.
Yeah.
How many pivots do you go through with life?
Every day, all
day. So
day.
many pivots.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to choose the right pivot.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
And see it as a pivot.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
hell yeah.
it. That's something to think about.
Yeah. You know, there's a question I like to ask people like at like a cocktail party if I'm meeting somebody for the first time. So if you remove work and anything that has anything to do with work, what are you good at?
Well, it's a very good question.
And I know what things I think you're good at, but what do you say you're good at?
What am I good at? That's a really great question. Other than work.
Other than work.
I couldn't answer that.
No?
I've never been asked that, and I can't even think about that right now.
Okay.
Like little things like keeping a house clean, but I don't know.
That's not little.
Right. I don't know. I raised 4 very successful children.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know what I could say I'm good at.
Well, you're good at listening.
You think so?
Yes.
Maybe I'm good at friendships, trying to keep them. You know what I mean? And being...
Yeah.
That's a very wonderful question.
You're good at that. You're good at making yourself present in the relationships that you want to maintain, whether or not they are close proximity or whether or not there's a constant interaction. Like you reinsert yourself. You'll check in.
Right.
Everybody
I definitely
doesn't
do check in.
Yeah.
I definitely check in.
And that's a real thing. That's a really good thing.
If someone means something to me, I let them know.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yep.
Thinking about you.
Yeah,
Love you. And I do that to you all the time.
Yeah.
I do that to you all the time.
But I learn it from you.
I do that all the time.
Like I learn it and I do it more than I would have if I didn't have a relationship with you. I know that.
Really?
Absolutely. Because every time every time I get a text from you, I realize that it's a voluntary thing on your part. Like there isn't something that you're trying to sustain other than the relationship.
Correct.
Other than this friendship.
Right.
There's no other thing that's like, if you had this friendship, then you'll also have this other thing.
Right. No.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the reason why people check in.
Right.
And it's like, okay, she's just doing her part proactively in sustaining this friendship.
Yeah, definitely we have a connection that I want to keep for my life. I don't want to lose this.
Yeah.
And when something extraordinary happened a couple of years ago, you were there for me. How many people are there?
Yeah.
Now you can make a phone call, whatever. To be there is to travel 40 minutes in an Uber
Yeah.
and be there and listen to someone cry and listen to them talk.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah.
And you know what? Since then, we've had our lives. We've, you know, doing our things, moved out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We had a conversation and we had a friendship
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Yep.
And I don't want to lose that.
Yeah. Me either. I appreciate
I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And I was so excited waking up in the morning today, getting dressed up. I'm like, I have to dress in my outfit. I went, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel excited being around you because you bring happiness to me.
Thank you.
I have, like we were saying at the beginning, again, full circle, I'm looking for happiness.
Yeah.
And you bring that to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You bring the happiness to me because you know what? If you don't have happiness,
right,
you become sour.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I don't want to be sour.
Yeah.
I want to be a happy person.
Yeah.
And be around the people that bring that feeling of excitement.
Yeah.
Inside of my heart.
Yeah.
You know? And you definitely are one of those people. And I have no other motive other than I want your time.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. It's valuable though. Because it's valuable,
And all I want is your time. So this right here is unbelievable to me that I could spend time with you, talk to you, being able to tell you how I feel.
Right.
And you listen to me.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like everybody that's been on the couch, it's funny how people talk about this couch. But like everybody that's been on this couch hasn't been a close friend of mine.
Really?
You know what I mean? No. Right. And I don't have a lot of close friends. But people that I have personal relationships with, I have a strong bond for one reason or another, right?
Right.
And then there's people that are acquaintances and associates and colleagues and neighbors and whatever the things are that aren't bonds. They are just proximity.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no matter who you are, I'm only interested in the esoteric and the deep connection. And if we can't connect there, then I probably won't be, then that's why we're not close friends.
Right.
And this is something I'm also very mindful of. Deep connections are not purely or exclusively built on trauma bonding. And a lot of times
you have to have something before that.
Something else.
100%.
Right? Like,
100%.
Like not just, carrying each other through
adversity.
Adversity, right? And a lot of people lean on that to create a friendship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they didn't have a thing. This is just sympathy and compassion.
That's not gonna sustain a friendship for years and years and years.
Because that's not the person.
No.
That's just the person in an experience in that one moment.
Correct.
Right? So I get to have these conversations with folks where there's just genuine interest in stories and perspectives and ideas and identities. And we get to unearth things about each other and ourselves. And we get to listen to ourselves talk about ourselves in a way that we otherwise don't get to. Because like you're not selling me anything. I'm not selling you anything. Right. Like we're not trying to present anything.
Correct.
And the questions, if they are considered earnestly, we don't use it as a platform to sell a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when I ask you when you realize that you're pretty and you say, well, I didn't think I was pretty.
Right.
That's the honest answer.
100%.
Right? Like
100%.
And that's what I'm interested in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this has been fantastic.
Oh, I love it. I hope you feel like we're good friends.
We are. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I love, there was a lot of people that came through our lives.
Yeah.
You know? And you were a one constant that would sit at a table and talk like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you didn't get.
Yeah.
That's where I grew to be friendly with you. Friends. Not an acquaintance that you say, oh yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember you riding the bicycle and we'd be so excited. Oh my God, look how we love that. You know what I'm saying? So like we have so many memories.
Right.
And I love being able to make this a memory that we can say 5 years from now, oh my goodness, remember we did that?
Yep.
So I love that opportunity.
Yeah.
So even though you're not here every day, you're here every day.
Yeah.
So now coming back together is fabulous. I love it.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm working on this, I'm developing this it'll be a book first.
Ooh, book
But it's
signing.
like, yeah, right. For real though,
I
right?
wrote a book. Yeah, I'll stand on the line.
You won't have to stand in line, I promise you.
Yay.
But
I get a private book
absolutely,
signing. Yay.
absolutely. But the book is going to be based on gratitude, right? And I had this thought recently about I tend to make good choices. I think a lot of people do, if not most people. But I tend to make the good choices I make because I want a good future. So like I see this choice as a stepping stone to a future. So if I make the good choice here, I'll have a good future.
It's like building.
Right?
Correct. Good foundation, a solid foundation.
Yeah. Like I'm going to be able to harken back to this as like what I should be able to reasonably expect of the future.
Correct.
Because like when I had the chance to do this or that, I chose this.
Right.
I didn't choose that.
Correct.
Right. And as valuable as that can be, I think there's an opportunity for me, at least, and for many other people, but to create a new paradigm where I make my choices based on gratitude for my good past, and not the trying to leverage for a good future. So like, there's good things in my past that I probably don't remember clearly or think about enough. They absolutely happened. You know what I mean? And a lot of them are small things that I just
didn't realize.
Yeah, right. I didn't, count it. You know what I mean? But part of the reason why I didn't count it is because I'm so used to good things. Like that's part of the reason. It's like when you eat good food all the time, you don't realize how good this plate of food 100%. Is. Because I always eat good. Right.
All the food is good.
It's always good. Right. I don't realize that there are people eating shitty versions of what I eat.
It's good food. Right.
Right. Because I'm paying attention to my plate.
Right. 100%.
You know what I mean? So, thinking about like, how do I create a paradigm where I refashion my mind to spend more time in memory of my good past moments and good experiences and good perspectives. And then when an opportunity comes up to make a choice, for example, when the choice is to go to the gym, I choose to go to the gym not because I want to be in good health a year from now. I would choose to go to the gym because, fortunately, I'm healthy enough now that I can go to the gym.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I won't 100%. Always be able to go to the gym.
Right.
Also, I'm thankful that I've gone to the gym enough times in the past that when I walk in the gym, I know what to do.
Right.
I might not have a workout planned out.
Right.
But I'm not uncomfortable in the gym. I'm not standing around like,
what do I do? Right.
You know what I mean? I have a lot to be grateful for from the past already.
Right.
Even when it's like, I'll go to the gym and maybe in the past, I could bench press more than I can bench press today. When I was 25, I could do
anyone can do anything.
Crazy things. Right? Yeah, right? And maybe I can't do those things now.
But maybe you can.
But maybe I can, and I know that that's possible.
Correct.
I can work back to my 25-year-old capability. I just got to go to the gym regularly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I just got to stretch and do the weightlifting, which makes my workout a better workout today because I'm not just gunning through it like I could when I was 25.
Right.
So I'm getting a more comprehensive workout. I'm getting agility and I'm getting flexibility and I'm getting rest for my muscles and I'm getting strength building.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like all of those things are decisions based on what I'm grateful for from the past. And then when I'm met with this moment of decision and I make the good decision, there's so much more being put into that decision when it's coming from gratitude than when it's coming from leveraging a future expectation.
100%.
Because the expectation is like a fixed, finite thing. I just want good health next year.
100%.
You know what I mean? But that's a measurable thing.
Right.
I can't possibly measure all the things that I'm actually grateful for about the
of course.
past, right?
Right.
But I can pour it all into this decision.
100%.
You know,
Right.
so it's like that's something that I'm working on now, and I'm really, really excited about.
That's great.
You know,
I love that, and I love being on that journey with you and seeing that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because it's like it's all there. It's all there.
That's wonderful.
It's like you said, it's just perspective. How am I choosing to see this life? How am I choosing to see my past? I remember talking about, so I sent this message to somebody. They had posted something on Instagram, and she's like a brilliant woman, and she's a very accomplished woman. But she made a post where she was telling this story about like her coming to this point in life and all the things that she had to experience and go through, and all the areas in which she wasn't sufficient, whether it was like in her personality and mentality or in her output and execution. Like she wasn't
totally happy.
Yeah. Right. And it struck me like, oh, we have to tell ourselves better stories about our past. We can't keep telling ourselves the stories that the past is simply the unfortunate or uneventful versions. There are other versions of that same story that can be truthful, but can be more positive. And if we tell ourselves those stories more so, it's like a slinky. It's like sometimes we tell ourselves such a bad story so that the good springs forward so good. Because we don't think the good will be that
analogy.
Good. Right?
I love that. I love that analogy. My goodness, we're going to get slinkies in. I love it.
Right? It's like we want such an epic
boost
forward.
Right.
So we keep telling ourselves like the shit was so bad then.
Right.
So that we feel like the good reward is we're worthy of it.
Right.
I used to have that. I'm rambling, so thank you so much for
no, not at all.
But like I used to really have that complex where like I didn't think that my life would be but so good because I didn't think that my past was so bad. And I listen to other people tell their stories of their past, whether it's traumas or just heartbreak or just hardship. And it's like I don't have that, which means it's not going to be but so good for me because I'm not pulling from.
Definitely.
It's like, oh wait, no, don't.
Yeah, definitely don't think that way.
That's
yeah,
not
definitely
true.
not.
That's not
definitely
true at
don't
all.
think that.
Yeah.
You are the creator and the molder of your future.
Yeah.
Nothing that happened from the past can make it better or worse for your future.
Right.
You make it.
You now. Yeah.
You right now.
Yeah.
Right now is where you determine your future. The back you can learn from.
Yep.
But you're the molder, you're the architect of the future.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think about it like I'm the main character in my story.
Correct.
Right? You're the main character in yours.
Right.
And that's one aspect of it. But the main character doesn't get to choose who all is in the scene.
Correct.
So sometimes I need to step out of my main character mind and become more of the writer and the director of the story and not just the main character.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like the main character is also like ricocheting and being impacted by the scene itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the writer and the director set the stage.
I love that.
It's like for the life I want to live, I can't just be the main character.
Right. I love that.
I got to be setting the stage before the scene gets there.
Correct.
I got to be writing the arc of the story.
Right.
And I got to be seeing the forward vision of
that.
it. And that changes not only how I show up in the moment, but my acceptance of every other character in what I consider my story.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like I'm more appreciative of every scene.
I love that.
Because there's no scene in a movie that isn't valuable to the movie.
100%.
Even the scenes that you hate.
Right. Each one of them make the ghost, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like understand that I'm the main character, but I can also be the writer and I can also be the director.
Love that.
And that'll change everything for me.
That's a great way to think about things. I love that.
Yeah.
Completely.
You're very stylish.
So are you.
I want to go back to this, what you're good at stuff, because I don't think we spent enough time on that.
I remember you coming, you used to have your little flower and your tie and the socks would match. And then, you know, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have the hat.
Thank you.
Perfectly to the side. You know what I'm saying? Neo style.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But it's, so are you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I had to put a little bit extra, you know what I'm saying? I knew I was going to see stuff.
But you always you not only have the things, you put it together like so well, like really, really well. You know what I mean? Like you show up looking like Karyn.
Thank you.
You know, some people just show up dressed, they're clothed. That's as far as it got.
Right.
You know what I mean? You always show up looking like Karyn.
Thank you.
You look put together. You look thoughtful.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, like you're good at a lot of things.
You know, to be posed a question like that about yourself, to answer a question so raw about yourself, it's very hard.
Okay.
For someone to answer.
I hear you.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
That question.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous question. And I'm literally going to go home and start thinking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't think about that.
Right.
You wake up in the morning, right? I got to go to work. I got to get dressed. You work, you work the 8 hours. You come home. You do more work. You take a shower. Do a little bit of something, eat, and go to bed.
Yep.
So to be posed a question like that, you really have to be introspective and think about it.
Yeah.
What am I good at? What am I good at?
Yeah.
And you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You have to be honest, you know, like, but again, what makes you happy? Because at the end of the day, it's all about happiness. It's all about happiness, you know? So you have to like, what makes you happy?
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm at work and I see someone like, you know, they're, you know, now in the city, we have all these lights and, you know, flowers and stuff. And you see people that are tending to the flowers.
Yeah.
And if you said, wow, you're making a great little, you're making that look so great. The smile, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's happiness. Like people don't pay attention to that person that makes this beautiful thing beautiful.
Yeah.
We enjoy it every day by looking at it.
Right.
But the person that puts the hose to it or plants the flower, you know, no one ever says that.
Yep.
Or the person that is, you come in the morning and that's mopping the floor at a building.
Yeah.
No one ever says, wow, thank you so much for making this look so pretty and smell so nice.
Yep.
And it lightens up
their
face.
For sure.
So now, like, I say that, and it makes me feel good to see them feel good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that 2 seconds of whatever you say might make the difference if that person doesn't feel good.
Right. For sure.
Now,
for sure.
Feels great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Takes 2 seconds.
I remember,
so that makes me feel happy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I remember I saw this video. I'll send it to you. It was on TikTok. It was KRS-One talking about the start of hip hop. And he talked about, he's like, I'm gonna tell you what the business model that created hip hop. It's like, you know, one person stands here and they say this rhyme, you know, and I can't remember the rhyme, but it was like, you know, some like 1980s style rhyme. I'm the freshest, blah, 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 right?
That was the best story.
All right?
It was great.
But like, you know, this person says this rhyme. The person next to them says, that's whack. They both walk away with nothing, right? Compared to this person says this rhyme, I'm the freshest, I'm the deafest, I'm the best, I'm the da-da-da-da-da, right? And this person says, that's the best rhyme I've ever heard. Now they're both lifted up.
Right.
Right?
100%.
Right, and that's it.
Right.
It's like, that's the model to follow.
100%. Because both of you, with that little bit, said, oh my God, it clicks something inside of you that makes you want to do better or more. All right, I want to go home and scribble some things on the ground on a piece of paper. So it's your interactions with people. That's what I feel now. Your interactions make you better for tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
So you're saying about that slinky analogy, I love that. So you take a little bit of every conversation we have and you add to it. So I want to be that slinky that you shoot it, and I want to be catapulted into something great.
Right.
So what will my slinky be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
What will be that slinky?
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I think everyone, with every interaction that everyone has, what are you taking out of the conversation?
Yeah.
What are you going to take out of your words of wisdom that you're giving to me? What am I taking from that? Because if I'm not taking anything, then what am I learning? What's the point of staying here and listening?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's the point of a professor talking to kids if you're not taking something from what they're saying?
Yep.
Now, if I'm not going to learn something from what we're talking about, that's, what kind of a friendship, one, and why do this if you're not taking something? So I love what you're saying, and I want to expound upon that. You know what I mean? And I want to learn how to put paradigm in a sentence. So that's my other thing. I have to learn how to put paradigm in a sentence. So I'm going to do those two things. But the slinky is a wonderful analogy that I want to take, and it could be anything. It could be happiness. It could be bringing my career to the next level. It could be bringing my relationships to where I want them to be. That slinky can be a paradigm for anything that we want it to be.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's true. We have to, as people and people that we care about, listening is the thing. And if you're listening and the perspective, I love this because I want to now, I'm being excited, I feel excited to get that slinky and to go to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's very exciting.
High five.
Yay! Love.
Love you.